History is filled with tales of scientific breakthroughs, but sometimes in the relentless pursuit of knowledge, the line between discovery and depravity is utterly erased. What happens when the human mind itself becomes the ultimate laboratory, and ethical boundaries are not just pushed but shattered entirely? This is the chilling story of when science went dark, exploring the most terrifying psychological experiments ever conceived, or perhaps unleashed. Our journey begins in 1971 in the basement of Stanford University. Dr. Philip Zimbardo, a renowned psychologist, set out to study the psychology of imprisonment. He recruited 24 ordinary, healthy college students, dividing them into guards and prisoners for a 2-week simulation. From the very first day, the simulation spiraled into a nightmare. The prisoners were stripped, deloused, and given numbers instead of names. The guards were given uniforms, batons, and mirrored sunglasses, designed to dehumanize both sides. But the most shocking discovery wasn't the setup, it was the speed at which the roles were absorbed. Within hours, the guards, ordinary students just days before, became authoritarian and cruel. They forced prisoners to do push-ups, clean toilets with their bare hands, and endured constant humiliation. The prisoners quickly broke down. Some showed signs of extreme stress, crying and developing psychosomatic rashes. Others became passive and compliant, unable to resist their tormentors. The psychological toll was so severe, the experiment had to be shut down after just 6 days, a stark warning about the power of situational roles and unchecked authority. Zimbardo himself, initially playing the role of the superintendent, admitted he lost sight of his ethical obligations. The Stanford Prison Experiment proved that any person, placed in an environment of absolute power, can rapidly become an instrument of cruelty, but this was just the beginning of science's dark journey. As the Cold War raged, another terrifying psychological test unfolded in secrecy. This one, shrouded in urban legend but rooted in unsettling truths, became known as the Soviet sleep experiment. In the late 1940s, Soviet scientists reportedly locked 5 political prisoners in a sealed, soundproof chamber. The promise, freedom if they could stay awake for 30 days. To aid this, the chamber was continuously pumped with an experimental stimulant gas. For the first 5 days, all was normal. The subjects conversed, albeit nervously, but as the stimulant pushed them past natural human limits, paranoia set in. By day 9, screams echoed from the chamber. By day 15, a horrifying silence fell. When the scientists finally breached the chamber, what they found was beyond grotesque. The prisoners had inflicted horrific, self-mutilating injuries. They had torn skin, ripped out organs, and exhibited an insatiable desire to remain awake, even as their bodies failed. While official Soviet records of the Russian sleep experiment remain elusive, similar documented psychological warfare experiments from the era confirm the terrifying pursuit of mind-altering techniques. It serves as a chilling testament to the dangers of pushing human endurance past its breaking point and the nightmarish consequences of prolonged sleep deprivation. But the Soviets weren't alone in their darkest pursuits. Across the Iron Curtain, the United States government embarked on its own classified journey into the human mind, Project MKUltra. From the 1950s to the 1970s, the CIA secretly conducted hundreds of illegal and unethical experiments on human subjects, often without their consent. The goal, to develop mind control techniques for interrogation, psychological torture, and even brainwashing sleeper agents. Subjects, including unsuspecting civilians, mental patients, and even prisoners, were given potent hallucinogens like LSD, subjected to electroshock therapy, sensory deprivation, verbal and sexual abuse, and hypnosis, all in an attempt to erase and reprogram their minds. The horrific toll on the victims was immense, leading to permanent psychological damage, amnesia, and even death. While the CIA claimed the program was ineffective and eventually shut it down, the full extent of the experiments and the long-term suffering of its victims remains a heavily redacted and debated chapter in U.S. history. It highlights a chilling truth, that governments, in the name of national security, are sometimes willing to cross every ethical boundary imaginable, turning science into a weapon against the very minds it claims to protect. The Stanford Prison Experiment, the Soviet sleep experiment, MKUltra, these aren't just historical footnotes. They are profound warnings. They reveal the terrifying fragility of the human psyche when confronted with unchecked power, extreme environments, or the deliberate manipulation of those who claim to seek answers. These dark chapters of psychology force us to ask, what other horrors were uncovered, what secrets remain hidden, and what are we truly capable of, both as individuals and as institutions, when the thirst for knowledge or control eclipses all ethical bounds? Join us on the Hidden Vault as we continue to uncover the most unsettling truths history tried to bury. If you're fascinated by the dark side of human behavior and hidden secrets, then hit subscribe because we're just getting started.